Hey y'all, it's Miss Marcy, and I'm here to deliver my recap of The Real Housewives of Atlanta, Season 8, Episode 16, Turning Over a New Peach. Y'all, this has got to be the longest Real Housewives franchise. Oh my gosh. Man, I'm like, when is this going to be over? They gonna start running out of storyline. They gonna start reaching pretty soon. But see, then again, this is the second to last episode. But anyway, let me get off into it. All right, so the first thing starts out with Cynthia and Kim having a conversation. You know, Cynthia wanted to go to Kim and clear her name as far as when they were in Jamaica. When RHOA brought up the conversation about Kim's husband allegedly being gay or seeming gay or whatever. And so Cynthia just wanted to clear her name and let Kim know that she was not a part of that conversation, nor did she feel comfortable about that conversation. And I can understand where Cynthia was coming from on the strength of Kim was just helping Cynthia with her shade commercial, with her commercial rather. And so that would have been pretty shady of Cynthia to be sitting up there talking about Kim's husband and just, you know, talking about whether or not he's gay, and she turns around and helping her with a video and with a commercial. And as a matter of fact, the conversation came up after they had filmed the commercial, and they wanted to celebrate Kim. They wanted to celebrate Kim and how successful the commercial had went, because Cynthia was very pleased with the commercial. So while they were in celebration of it, Sheree decides to bring it up. She decides to bring it up like, you know, I don't want to sit here and be phony and fake, but yesterday the conversation came up that your husband is gay. No. So like I said, Cynthia wanted to let Kim know that she wasn't even a part of that conversation and she didn't feel comfortable with it. So anyway, moving on. In that conversation, Cynthia asked Kim, you know, how was her relationship with Kenya? And so basically Kim was just like, well, you know, I'm not besties with her. You know, I don't really care to be besties with her. If we cool, we cool. If we're not, we're not. And I can understand Kim on that, because, I mean, Kenya just came off like a straight up bully to Kim. And it just seemed like Kenya always felt like Kim was trying to slight her on the sly. You know, and I don't even think it was really that. I think Kenya just was Kenya was jealous of the commercial and how Cynthia went ahead and went with Kim, and it was just so petty. But whatever. I understand where Kim's coming from. Hell, I wouldn't care to be, if I was Kim, I wouldn't care to be besties with Kenya anyway. You know, I personally like Kenya, but I'm just saying, if I was Kim, I would be like, yeah, I'm cool on that bitch, you know. So anyway, moving right along. Speaking of Kenya, so she's been spending time with this guy, Matt, her little young boo thing. And she brought him over to her aunt's house. No, actually, her aunt came to her Moore Manor. And she had her, you know, when Matt was out of earshot, she basically told, you know, her aunt was like, you know, do you like him? I know you're used to men with a little bit more power. And basically telling Kenya she knows she's used to men with money. And Kenya's like, well, Matt's not normally the type that I go for, but I'm feeling him. And I don't be around, I mean, I'm not around Kenya and Matt to really know what's really going on or whatnot. But I will say that he does make her smile a lot. I mean, she laughs a lot with him, and she does seem happy. My personal opinion, I don't know if I say he's the one. I think he's the one for right now, but I don't know if I think he's the one. I just, something. He doesn't seem like he's going to stick around. I think that Kenya's going to get on his nerves after a while with her, because Kenya has a very strong personality, and she seems like she doesn't know how to be submissive. You know, she doesn't seem like she knows how to be submissive. And so I think that he just seems like the type of person that really wouldn't have a lot of patience for her. So yeah, he doesn't seem like he would have a lot of patience for Kenya. So I just can't see him sticking around. But I could be wrong. I don't think I'm wrong, but so we'll see how that goes. You know, time will only tell. And there's rumors that she's supposed to be pregnant. I don't know. We'll like I said, time will tell with that too. And I want to go back and say something also about Kim and the talk of her husband allegedly being gay. Now, I'm not the one to say whether somebody's gay or not. I mean, I don't have anything against nobody that's gay. Now, don't get me wrong. I don't like that download shit. I feel like if you're going to be with a woman and married to a woman, then you need to stick with a woman. That being married to a woman and slipping and dipping in men on the low, nah, that shit, I'm not cool with that one. But, whatever her husband is or isn't, I'm just going to say this. I feel like when there's a whole bunch of people saying something, it's something that's worth looking into and evaluating, because a whole bunch of people are not going to be saying something if it's not totally true. I mean, most of the time where there's smoke, there's fire. And that's all I'm going to say about that. All right. Now, Porsha is doing her lingerie line, which I'm not surprised at that. Because, honey, Porsha is giving us sex all day long, every day, every time we see Porsha. If she ain't working, she's doing something. I mean, she's just always showing us her body. And don't get it twisted, she got a badass body. But it's like, man, she want us to see it every chance we get. Every chance she gets. So, anyway, she's doing her lingerie line, which I'm glad to see. And it looks nice from what I saw. So she was doing her little photo shoot for that. And she was talking about how Oliver is the one. And she thinks he's going to be a keeper. And that's all good for her, because she needs somebody that's going to blow her back out, because she walk around this mud like she is on fire. So anyway, that's enough about Porsha, because it really wasn't a whole lot to talk about with Porsha. Now, okay, so Phaedra goes visit Kandi, and she goes to tell Kandi about all the shade that went on the trip to Jamaica and what happened, and how they were surprised to see Nene Leakes show up to the festivities, her and Greg. And so Kandi started talking about how she couldn't believe how Sheree and Nene were getting along, because, you know, everybody know on the last, I think the last season Sheree was on there, her and Nene got into it or whatever, you know. But I honestly think that Kandi is just not here for Nene, period. I don't really think Kandi trusts Nene too well. I think in Candy's mind, you know, she's seen Nene be friends with people and then turn around and fall out with them really bad. And I mean falling out to the point where she's all up in their face and ready to fight them, or act like she's ready to fight them. You know, just like there's an example with Kim Zolciak, who else? Oh, yeah, Sheree, and hell, Cynthia. So I think Candy's just like, oh no, no. And then y'all remember on the season where they had the doctor on there, the counselor, and he was doing like an intervention with all of them, but it ended up turning out to be everybody was like talking about Nene and what she was doing and how everything was coming back to her. And Nene could not handle that shit. She walked up out of that room. She felt like it was gang up on Nene Day, so she left. And everybody was just looking like, how the hell she gonna be the one getting upset, and she the one started all of this, you know. And then when they had that reunion, that following episode, they had the reunion, and Nene broke down and was crying and was talking about her relationship with her mom, how it has affected her and everything. And Kandi was just looking like, because, you know, everybody else got up to hug her and console her and everything. And Kandi was just looking like, I mean, what? Like, why? I'm not about to get up and console her. She the one started this mess. She brought this on herself. So I could just tell Kandi's just not really feeling Nene all like that. And let me say this. I think when it comes to Kandi and Phaedra's relationship, I think that they're still trying to hold on to their friendship, but I don't think it's quite the same. I don't really think Kandi trusts Phaedra because of all the drama, you know, in the past. As far as, I think Phaedra has made the mistake of speaking about Kandi behind her back. And not to say that Phaedra was really ever dogging Kandi, but it's little things like when she felt some type of way about Apollo's things being in Candy's house, and when she was, you know, when it came to the situation with Todd owing Phaedra money. Well, no, Phaedra supposedly owing Todd money, and how Phaedra just was feeling some type of way on different incidents with Kandi, but never really addressing Kandi, but she was telling everybody else about it. And then she was saying how Kandi wasn't really a good friend to her and there for her when it came to the situation with Apollo. So with Apollo. So both of them had reasons to feel some type of way towards each other, but instead of talking to Kandi about it, Phaedra was talking to other people about it. And I can tell that Kandi is kind of guarded with Phaedra, even though she's trying to, they're trying to keep their friendship kosher like it was before, but it just seems like a little bit of a struggle. If anything, no, I would say that it seems like Porsha and Phaedra seem to be more like bosom buddies. You know what I'm saying? They seem like they have more in common. I mean, think about it. Both of them are single pretty much. I mean, both have been married before, or, Phaedra's still married, but both of them, they just seem like they just have fun together. Both of them love shaking their asses together and wearing crazy shit. You know what I'm saying? So they just seem like they just have a lot of fun together and that they really do enjoy being around each other. So, that's just my observation. And how about, wait a minute, speaking of people not really feeling people, how about Mama Joyce and Todd? I thought I saw Mama Joyce give Todd a hug, or was my eyes deceiving me? If I blinked for a second, it looked like Mama Joyce gave Todd a hug. I'm like, whoa, what? But babies have a tendency to do that to people, and I ain't mad at them. That's a beautiful thing. Babies bring people together, so that's great. I'm really happy for Kandi and Todd, though. I really am, because, Kandi deserves some happiness. And like, we done seen her, I remember the guy she was with, what's his name, AJ, the one that died. She was with him. Her mom was causing all kind of drama with that situation, and so I just think Kandi deserves to be in a happy place where she is right now. So now we just got to get Kenya there, okay? But here's what I want to say also about Kenya and the Matt guy. With Matt being younger than her, I think that's an advantage for Kenya because of the fact that with him being younger, he's probably still open to having children, whereas at Kenya's age, if she was to get with a man older than her or, about her age, it's highly likely that he already has children and his children are older and he probably does not want any more children. And that's not good for Kenya because she clearly wants at least a child. So with Matt being younger, he's still more open to the idea. So I think that's an advantage for them as well. So anyway, moving right along. All right, so the biggest part of this episode, because y'all really want a whole lot that went on, but the biggest part of this episode was Phaedra takes the boys, Dylan and Aiden, Mr. President and Mr. Vice President. She takes them to go see Apollo. She flies to Philadelphia to go see him. So, up in the joint. As in the past few episodes, y'all remember Phaedra was a little on the fence about taking them to see him because she didn't want her boys to see that as an image that they felt was okay. And my personal opinion about that is I feel like if that's where their daddy at, that's where he's at. And if anything, you can take them to the prison and show them, hey, it's cause and effect out here, and this is what happens if you do something. You're going to be punished. You're going to do the time. So I don't think it's a bad thing to go take them to go see him, and I don't think they'll grow up thinking that it's okay to do crime and get locked up and stuff like that. So anyway, so she takes the boys to go see him, and while she takes them to go see him, of course they wouldn't let the cameras go in, so she had her mom sit out in the car or whatever, and while she took them in and everything, and they had a visit with him. Now, earlier in the episode as well, Phaedra met with her attorney, and her attorney confirmed to her that they are going to go ahead and push the divorce, from Apollo. And so when Phaedra went to go visit him, she told him, and of course he was not in favor of it. So Phaedra's like, when she came from the visit, she was telling her mom, I think he's going to prolong the divorce, and and things like that. And she told her that the boys pretty much, they had a decent visit with him. They played with him and everything. But Phaedra just seemed like she really, I don't know, Phaedra just seemed like she is ready to move on from this chapter of her life. But here's my thing. I feel like when Apollo was out, his last week, Phaedra was not supportive. She was not supportive at all. I didn't understand why she was not supportive. I understand that Apollo did do this to himself, to land himself in this position in which he should not have been so stupid to do so. I mean, he had just did a 10-year bid. I mean, he should have been home thinking about his family instead of out doing dumb shit like he wasn't going to get caught. And I mean, 8 years is a long time, and Phaedra does have the right to be happy just like anybody else. But I feel like when it comes to marriage, you stick it out. I mean, that's what you get married. You get married and you say, hey, through thick and thin. She's not even sticking it out a good couple of years before she throwing the towel. She's throwing in the towel early. And I just feel like a lot of times people do that in marriage. It's almost like people forget what they sign up for when they get married. Things are not always going to be glamorous and happy-go-lucky. You are going to have to stick some things out. And even if she get with the next person, it's still going to be trials and tribulations. That just comes with the territory of marriage. I mean, it just comes with it. That's part of life. But hey, I'm no preacher. I'm no counselor. I'm just a woman sitting in front of this computer giving my opinion, okay? But so I met Phaedra, like I told y'all in one of my last recaps. I met Phaedra, and she was a pleasure in person. She was so nice. And honey, she looked flawless. Wasn't a hair out of place, a lash wasn't out of place, honey. Face was beat to the gods. And she just looked awesome. Everything was awesome. Her body, she was bad. So and not only that, she didn't shy away from any conversation about Apollo or any conversation about the show. She was very, she was open. But Phaedra has that thing about her where it's like, hey, you can talk to me about so much, but honey, it's only so much I'm going to tell you before I tell you get the hell out of my business. You know what I'm saying? So that's the kind of vibe she had. But she was really cool. She talked to everybody, and she didn't seem like she was, because she came for a book signing. When she came, she didn't seem like she just came to hurry up and get her book out there and hurry up and go back to Atlanta. No, she kicked it. She parlayed with us, with all of us that were there. I mean, she laughed, slapped fives, talked, took pictures with everybody. She was really cool. So, I like Phaedra. So, I just never understood why she really wasn't that supportive of Apollo, But hey. So, anywho, that was really all that went on, y'all. If I left anything out, go ahead and feel free to drop it below. And, so, all right, y'all. Thanks for listening to this recap. Hopefully, y'all enjoyed it. I will be doing the final episode, of course, next Sunday. And all right, until next time, this is Miss Marcy. Peace. I holla.